Welcome back for another episode of RBP. It's me, Ross Bolen, here as always with my number one guy, Jared Borislow, a.k.a. the Bone Collector. Jared, do you feel rejuvenated by the long weekend?
Yeah, a little bit.
No, you don't.
No, you're right. Not
The
at all.
only way to actually be rejuvenated by a long holiday weekend is by not participating in it at all. Otherwise, it's even more draining than regular life. Especially now that we're so out of practice socially due to the pandy. Have you noticed this? Have you thought about this? Have you seen this? When you talk to people, especially if you're in like a group of people right now for an extended period of time, because that's not something we're as used to, it like really takes it out of you. Like keeping up with when like four people are talking at once right now, I'm like, fuck.
I went out
a minute.
Yeah, I went out on a boat. Shouts to boats, and
Shouts to boats.
It was with four people I'd never met before, and luckily I was able to get through it. But I was like, damn, I haven't done this in like 2 years.
Damn, you were lucky to get through it.
I mean, there's also I was kind of scared because of the implication. You know, I was out on a boat.
It's not like you were skiing.
What?
I have another story for you today,
Okay.
Jared. I was taking a walk earlier, writing this episode after we discussed that I needed to get out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And no bullshit, I'm walking down Manchac, however it's pronounced now. They changed the spelling recently, so I'm unclear. It's a major street in Austin. Definitely not one you would expect a ton of foot traffic on. Like, not a ton of foot traffic, just like the occasional person, because there's like some shopping centers, I guess, but not like something you'd typically walk down socially or recreationally, really. And frankly, I was wearing Birddog shorts, these, and this tank top, so I looked like I was maybe running or jogging. I wasn't, though. I wasn't working out or exercising. I don't want to take any stolen valor credit here because I wasn't. But this dude walking past me, pulling a cooler, stops me. He's talking to me and he's using his hands, and I've got my AirPods in and I'm writing on my phone. It looks like I'm texting, but I'm not. You know, I'm writing I'm doing my job. I'm working. I'm just getting out there, you know, breathing the fresh air and the exhaust as cars drive by. And so I can't hear him, and I'm like, oh, fuck me. And I can't. It used to be that I double tap my AirPod and then it pauses. That doesn't happen anymore. I know it's a thing I can change in the settings. Doesn't matter. Point is, I take the AirPods out, and I'm like, what's up? And he's like, hey, man, I've got about $100 of USDA Prime, and I cut him off right there. Like, so who knows? It could have been USDA Prime speckled moose cock for all I know. But this dude he didn't look like, you know, a person experiencing homelessness. He looked like a dude slanging street meat as a job. And who slangs about $100 worth of anything out of a cooler on the sidewalk, frankly? Like, it was the most bizarre proposition. Like, I was just like, yo, about $100 worth of USDA Prime. And I go, nah, man, I'm good. And I just kept walking, and I put my AirPods straight back in. And you know how it is whenever you kind of tell somebody to fuck off because you have to, and you're like, yeah, they could maybe stab me. So you kind of look back because you have to. So I kind of looked back, and he was like still yelling shit at me. Like, he was super pissed that I was not down to hear his proposition about his USDA Prime
Street meat,
which, dude, I just don't. This cooler he was pulling looked like it had a human damn head in it, man. Like, middle of Manchac, right next to a gas station. Like, I could have probably bought and paid for a body part right there in public. Nobody cares anymore. The world has officially lost its mind. People are selling street meat.
Yeah, of all the things that you could like maybe make a buck peddling, I'm thinking like, you know, popsicles, ice cream. This dude went for meat?
Street meat.
What kind of person gets their meat off the street?
And
besides vultures.
Do I just look like approachable or some shit? I feel like Christopher on The Sopranos. Like, do I look like a pussy to you? Then why would you try to sell me $100 of USDA anything out of a cooler on the street? Like, do I just look like a fucking idiot? Like, why? There's a few other people like he could have gone after. There's a bus stop right there with a couple people sitting at it. Prime USDA potential sales. I look like I'm fucking working out or something. Like he makes me take out the AirPods.
I'm imagining like, let's say the person who's like looking out their window watching this exchange, if you had actually bought it, just like looking and seeing this random dude in workout clothes purchasing like a rack of ribs.
Street meat. 100% prime USDA. Sir, why is it in this cooler with you on the street then?
I like to imagine that it's not even in bags. It's just like stacked up on top of each other inside. You just walk around with like a sirloin steak and no bag, just like gripping it in your bare hand.
Look, man, whatever it is that you have that has the stamp of 100% USDA prime, after that, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you have that has that stamp on it, the second that you put it in a cooler and start dragging it down the street to try to peddle street meat, it loses that credibility of 100% USDA prime. You have to take that sticker off because no longer does it carry that classification.
The USDA would no longer approve it as being prime if it's stuck in a cooler.
Certainly not 100%.
Probably like if it's like one of those kinds of coolers where he's walking it down the street, instead of ice packs, it's probably just like Gatorade bottles filled with water that he froze and then stuck in there, you know?
But the audacity of this guy. You think I'm buying street meat during, before, or after a pandemic? Like, didn't the pandemic just make everybody who's alive right now, no matter your age, go, well, I can't buy street meat ever again?
I'm pretty sure street meat was the cause of the pandemic.
My man, I have left my house 7 times in the past 16 months. I wouldn't eat whatever is in that cooler if you handed me $50,000 in cash. I wouldn't let you finish that sentence for $500. I wouldn't even let you open that cooler in front of me if you paid me $1,000 right here. Like, there's no way. That cooler is where COVID started, right there. Not in a lab in Wuhan. It's that cooler that dude is dragging around Manchac right now, peddling street meat out of. It's about $100, Jared, worth. God knows what he was going to try to push it at me, and I'll give it to you for 10. Like, that's the only price he could probably go at that would make somebody go, God damn, $100 worth for $10. Anything higher than that and you're out. It's street meat. Back to you, Jared.
That's an unbelievable story.
He's trying to write my show.
Yeah, Ross walked back into the office from that walk, and he's like, "You're not going to believe what just happened to me." And honestly, I don't. I believe it, but like I don't believe it.
I mean, it was nice though, because like, you know, we got a good 10 minutes of segment out of that. So I'm thankful for the street meat, but also concerned for my neighborhood. Because people are making weird decisions right now, man. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I keep referencing it, but the NBA playoffs is the best example because it's the first thing I've really watched that's got like the public back out in full force in some of these stadiums like Boston, and they're just misbehaving on a level previously.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me thinks maybe we were always like this. It's just less acceptable now because we all got a minute to stop and look around.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, gee, we're disgusted with our own sports behavior. That's what it feels like.
You said this guy got pretty pissed at you after you ignored him.
Yeah, I don't know if he was pissed because I don't know what he was yelling, unless he was continuing the sales pitch and didn't care that I had literally walked away, turned my back, put my ear pods back in, and gone to typing.
Do you think it's possible that he said,
"You come in my face, I'm going to fight you"?
It's incredibly possible. Do you think it's fair that I get credit and say that I'm writing anything when I'm typing it? I've had trouble with that, like for the last decade during my career as a writer. It's like, I'm a typer. This is a fucking computer. I'm not writing shit. Nobody can read my handwriting. I know it counts, but it shouldn't, and it feels weird because I feel like I'm getting credit, like the full credit that dudes 100 years ago got for writing when, like, come on.
I don't think of writing as handwriting. I think of writing as making words appear.
I know I do too, but I think that's unfair. They have to be pissed.
Call yourself an author, a New York Times best-selling author.
Like the ghosts that are hovering around, one of them might be a writer, and he's just like, this is horse shit. I sat there with a quill and ink and wrote something that nobody read, and if I misspelled something, I had to fucking get a whiteout. Can you imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember whiteout? We were young enough, man, you and I.
I used to use whiteout.
We used whiteout. That was like a thing that in school. We had whiteout in the supply cabinet because you had to get whiteout out and white out your fucking stupid mistake because you can't spell.
Yeah, so people who are listening right now, there's probably some younger kids listening who never had to use whiteout.
How do we reach these keys?
It's this little white bottle that has white ink in it. And so if you're writing on paper in pen, and you can't erase pen, obviously.
You cannot.
Pen 15.
is a joke. Penis.
Please clap.
And
He's getting better. Look at this shit. I think he came in over the weekend and practiced.
I might have soundboard bone. Yeah, you would take it out. It's got this little sponge tip. You dip it in the white ink, and you cross out your mistake that you did in pen.
Yeah. But then you'd have to wait for it to dry and write over it.
Which
And
just makes you think about the mistake even longer.
And it wasn't quite the same. Like, it wasn't like you were just writing on paper that hadn't in any way been altered. It was like you were writing on this smushy little glue that had been put over your mistake.
And you glob it on too thick, and then you go to rewrite over it, and the pen just dips right back into the whiteout, and you're like, oh, God.
I think that is the main reason, like, computers were invented, because they just got so old.
And then you're, like, carving the word into the whiteout, so it's not even like the pen is what is appearing. It's the carved out, like, cave drawing that you've done.
Just a total mess.
I miss whiteout, though. It's kind of fun.
Jared, did you notice I'm wearing new glasses?
Oh, Ross, I became visibly aroused.
When I put them on?
Yes.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're the West frames from our sponsor, Felix Gray. These are in the fawn color. Fawn. Behold them. Felix Gray. Phenomenal. They're awesome. 5 years ago, our sponsor, Felix Gray, realized our eyes weren't meant to look at screens all day, and obviously all of us look at screens all day, every day. It's nonstop. Speaking of not writing anymore and typing all day, goddamn phone, screen, 3 cameras pointed at me right now. There's so much blue light inserted into my eyes at this very moment that if I didn't have these Felix Grays on, my head might explode. But thankfully, I do have them on, Jared. Your head is at risk, at least currently.
Is my head, like, potentially going to explode, you're saying?
Yes.
And boom goes the dynamite.
And Jared's gone. But now more than ever, Americans are spending more time on computers and phones and tablets and gaming, and there's so many other sources of blue light, and Felix Gray Glasses are not like other blue light lenses. They filter 15 times more blue light. They can make screen time tough on the eyes and disruptive to sleep. They've got non-prescription and prescription available. They're beautiful. You check them out now at felixgrayglasses.com/RBP. I've been wearing them for years. They're nicer than any designer frames I've ever had. They're awesome, phenomenal, beautiful. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. I got a couple other pairs behind me. I have the Nash frames in 2 different colors now. That's how much I like those. And again, the ones on my face are the brand new, the West in the color fawn. So get yourself, what's up?
You kind of look like Jerry West. They call you the logo, the podcast
Some
logo.
people have called me that before, yes.
You are our podcast logo. You actually are the logo.
Oh, no, not another nickname.
Everybody call Ross the logo.
That one's too cool to not take, too. I have to add it to the list. So go get yourself a pair of glasses made for the 21st century and designed for modern, hardworking eyes. You have nothing to lose, except maybe eye strain. Go to felixgrayglasses.com/RBP for the best blue light glasses on the market. That's FELIXGRAY glasses.com/RBP. felixgrayglasses.com/RBP. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. felixgrayglasses.com/RBP. All right. It is now June. The 2nd of June. Wednesday. And that means it's LGBTQ plus Pride Month. When I was somewhere around 10 or 12, in that range, my mom explained to me that my aunt, her sister, liked girls, women, that she was gay, a lesbian. And I remember being like, well, that makes sense. Like, girls are pretty cool. I didn't really understand why that was a big deal at the time. And I didn't understand how, like, my mom's parents being Southern Baptists played into the equation. I didn't have any reference points for any of these things. And then later, I remember when her show got canceled, I remember having this moment where I was like, wait, hold up. So my aunt can't have a TV show because she was out in LA. She actually went to school in Austin. She went to the University of Texas. And then she went out to LA and was doing like stage actress life and like trying to get on TV shows and stuff. And I was just like, damn, just because my aunt is gay, like she can't have like a talk show one day? Or like, what is the fuck? I just couldn't make sense of that, the situation. Like Ellen came out and her show got canceled and it took her several years after the fact to get her career back to a place that it was before. Then I hit high school in the early 2000s when like every straight white dude exclusively referred to each other with a gay slur. And in hindsight, probably not all of us were straight, which is part of the reason it was problematic. And I was right there with them. And look, fam, just like you're not born racist, you're not born homophobic or hating LGBTQ plus people. This shit is taught. It's not just taught. It's like turned into a game that kids play without even knowing the stakes. Like, you think a 14-year-old white kid has enough real hate in his heart for, like, black people to use the N-word, or was that shit put there by someone else? Most of the time it was put there by someone else. In my experience, most of the people I grew up with that didn't have experience with black people because they weren't around them much, there was never even anything for the hate to be built on. Like, it was just inserted culturally and familially and however the hell else it's socially. And that's such a weird construct just of human beings, that we invent things to hate each other for. It's strange. It just seems like such a waste of energy.
And then it gets to a point where people are saying the slur and they're going, well, I didn't mean it like that, you know?
Because we didn't. Like,
Yeah.
but some people did. And you can't use it. Like, that's it. End of argument right there. But that doesn't make sense to you when you're a little kid. Like, again, you don't have the framework. You don't have the perspective, or like, you're just an ignorant, naive little shit, you know? And sadly, that leads to people being hurt. I mean, which is why we try. It's because it's like this conversation was lacking. Like, we were lacking this conversation too much in my life, at least in my personal experience. Like, it was something that was talked about some, but not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. It was like a blanket, Band-Aid that people slapped on it. But without any real depth to the explanation. Same with the racial stuff. Like, in general, like, I was taught, being racist is bad. Don't be a racist. You're an asshole if you're a racist. But without any real depth to that conversation or explanation around what it was that it was so important about it. That I didn't get till, life experience, thankfully, gave me a good smack in the ass and face and jaw. And I mean, it was years before anybody, even my mom, realized that my aunt left Texas altogether because California was a more gay-friendly state. And she's been there ever since. She's happily married. But, like, straight white people like me tend to think of America as this land of, like, endless prosperity where everyone who isn't crushing it must be doing something wrong. And that's why we have to dedicate months of the calendar year to undoing the hundreds of years of racial, sexual, and general prejudice that have crushed all minority and underrepresented groups in this country since time immemorial. Like, why do we have to have a month? Every month has to be 4 different things we have to recognize. And you think America has been just like free as shit, a party this whole time for everybody? No, it clearly has not been. And the failure to recognize that is like part of the problem for me. And it's one of the things that I don't like, is a failure to admit your mistakes. I can't sit with people, with countries, with humanity in general. Like, you got to be able to admit when you were wrong and move forward. So even if you're somebody that still uses some of these gay slurs in passing, like it doesn't hurt anybody. I mean, it just does. It does. And you can't. So don't. I mean, every day I struggle with accepting myself. And by America's standards, I'm as acceptable as it gets. So I struggle with the notion that my own aunt couldn't go on living in my home state because she didn't feel welcome enough because of who she is. Like, if I struggle with self-acceptance now as a 33-year-old man, like, what must things have been like for her at 14 years old, or at 21, or at 41? And we don't have these conversations because they're uncomfortable and they're awkward and they make us feel weird. And here's the thing. If the other option is hatred that continues to spread and generations of people have to grow up and live under the thumb of oppression, doesn't that put your own discomfort in perspective? Have the conversations. Talk to each other. Talk to your children. Teach them that we're all in this together and that sexual orientation and skin color and even nationality are just not things that we judge each other for. We judge each other by our actions. Everything else is basically up for debate. Thus concludes my LGBTQ plus Pride Month rant.
Back to you, Jared.
Very poignant, Ross.
I appreciate that, Jared. What if I told you that we have a sponsor making the most comfortable shorts in the world in which you can go swimming, they dry faster than a bathing suit, or hit a workout, go running, go for a walk in the neighborhood and be sold street meat? When you're wearing Birddogs, bitch, you can do anything. Birddogs, they're incredibly comfortable shorts with built-in underwear. Even their pants have underwear built in. Nobody will know, though, because they look so nice. You're just cheating the system, winning at life. And frankly, they make pants without the built-in underwear, too, if you just want incredibly comfortable and good-looking pants but are too afraid to break the wheel like Khaleesi did. And what's more, Jared, do you remember when you were a little kid and you'd go to a fast food restaurant and get a toy with your meal?
I do. That was amazing. That's like, Mom, please, I need a Happy Meal.
Yeah, because they've got the new Aladdin toy or whatever. Yeah, when you order Birddogs using the code RBP, you're always getting some kind of awesome toy with your order or deadly weapon like nunchucks. There are some behind me. We've even gotten rubber ventilated lawn cleats before, and now when you order the most comfortable shorts or pants on earth with or without built-in underwear from birddogs.com using the code RBP to support the podcast, you'll get a free whistling football.
Ross, let's see if I can do this. Ready?
Oh, showing it to the camera. I thought you were trying to make it whistle. I was like, Jared, this is not, you have to throw it, sir. That is not going to make it whistle. Yeah, it's a whistling football with your order that you get when you order from birddogs.com and use the code RBP because you listen to the Ross Bolen podcast and wear the most comfortable goddamn shorts or pants on earth from Bird Dogs. Congratulations, birddogs.com, code RBP. Free whistling football, baby. It's like a Nerf, but Bird Dogs, code RBP, birddogs.com. And now,
You're really good at that whistle.
thank you. I actually am a phenomenal whistler, and it's like not really a thing that gets recognized. And nobody cares.
Well,
When
no,
I-
you can
when
be
I
a bird
bust it out,
caller.
you know, the main time I'll use is like when I'm around my friends' kids. I always figure like this is probably one of the few things I've got that if I was a little kid, I would find it entertaining that this man sounds like a damn bird. So I'll be like, and like no one gives a shit. The kids always look at me like, yeah, all right, man. And then they just walk off. It's a real beating.
I'm picturing you driving down like a neighborhood in a white van being like, hey, kid, check this out. You do it again?
Now I can't because you've made me laugh.
It's really cool. It feels like a sound effect from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Hey, kid. But seriously, do you know how, like, just, what's the word I'm looking for? It takes me down a peg or two. When I hang out with children, and as an entertainer, I'm not able to entertain them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I'm funny as shit. And I remember growing up, watching my dad, like, he was always a coach. He coached all my baseball teams and soccer teams and basketball teams and shit. And when he would interact with kids, like, they thought he was the funniest motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah.
And I was always like, damn, my dad's cool as shit. And now I try to be like he was, like make these little fuckers laugh, and they could give a shit. They don't care that Bill can whistle at all. That I sit here for hours on end at night practicing these bird calls.
Yeah. Kids hate me because I always say the same thing to them.
What's that?
You're ugly. You're disgusting. I'm going to kill you. Give me $200.
They usually never have the money. They're never good for it. So,
Oh, fucking shit.
Dr. Phil.
Jared crushed the soundboard enough in this episode to take away any chance of me being able to rip it from his fingers, so that's a development for sure that I didn't expect. I honestly had forgotten that was even up in the air.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. Some people said they were going to quit listening to the podcast. You took it away, so you might have made a good decision.
It was also that. There was literally 3 or 4 people on Patreon who were like, yeah, well, if you take the soundboard away, I'm off. And I was like, oh, this is now a financially detrimental decision. I think I'll let Jared run the soundboard. But then you showed up today and just put on an all-star performance.
Thank you.
And that's something that needed to be acknowledged. So now, with our final segment of today's show, it's pizza talk time. Jared and I were talking about a pizza place close to us that we haven't tried. And it led me to the realization that we rarely, if ever, acknowledge pizza as a food on this show. For somebody who eats pizza a lot, I feel like I don't really talk about it. Spent a lot of time talking about Chipotle. Spent a lot of time talking about Popeyes. I remember at one point, maybe in the first 100 episodes, maybe briefly going over some of my favorite Austin pizza places, but like I haven't really talked about pizza as a food. And frankly, it's a complicated topic. A lot more complicated than you would think. Like, yes, most people like pizza, but from there is where it gets weird. There's a bunch of different types of pizza. Like, we were talking about this one place in Austin. It's called Via 313, and they make Detroit-style pizza. And up until I became introduced to Via 313, I wasn't familiar. I didn't know that Detroit-style pizza was even a thing. Is it just that it's square and slightly thicker?
So Detroit style is in a rectangular pan, so it's kind of like a pan pizza, right? But what they do is it's a little bit thicker of a dough. It goes dough, cheese, and then they put the cheese all the way to the edges of the pan so it caramelizes, and then they put the sauce on top of the cheese. So they get a little scoop of sauce put on top of the cheese.
How the hell do you know so much about this?
I've eaten Via 3 and 3 so many times.
I mean, so have I, but I never, looked into the making of it.
Yeah. You know?
In fact, I told you, I ate it so many times back when I was Bill Chungus. Bill Chungus was a big, big, big fan of Via. I ate it so many times during that phase that similarly to Whataburger, which I ate so many times during that phase, that I can't really eat it anymore. It's just not very appetizing to me. When I think about it, I'm like, oh, God.
I'm going to take you on a quick tangent.
Do it.
How do you pronounce the fast food chain Whataburger?
Whataburger.
Are you saying Waterburger?
I'm saying what I just said. Whataburger.
Is there an R there? Is it Waterburger or are you saying Whataburger?
Isn't that the point?
I think it is. This is a very big thing of debate, right? So after living here for 6 years, I finally started saying it like a Texan. I say Whataburger. Some Texans say Waterburger. Others say Whataburger. And if you say Whataburger, you're not a real Texan.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever I say
You say it right.
is the sign, what the sign says. Anybody saying Waterburger or even the fully pronounced version of Whataburger is an asshole. Just be somewhere in between. Far left, far right, those are bad. Middle good.
Whataburger.
Whataburger.
People, so what's funny is when I mention it to people visiting, they go, why are you saying it's Whataburger? I'm like,
People
no.
should leave asking what you asked. Wait, are you saying it with the wait? Was there or not? Because you shouldn't know. Because that's the thing about it. It's what makes it such a great brand name. Because it is constructed from what a burger, right? Like what a burger, right? But then it also plays as Whataburger or Waterburger. Or it's just fucking great for that reason. And it creates this discussion. And it's also just good food. It's good fast food. It's not great. And people like J.J. Watt who try to pretend that it's the best fucking thing in the world just so they can get Texan clout are morons. And anybody who comes and tells you that Whataburger is somehow this life-changing experience is full of shit. It's good food. But it's not going to blow your goddamn mind.
It's the kind of fast food that you'll be like, ooh, I want to get Whataburger for dinner tonight. But it's not like, oh my God, my friends are in town.
I'm going to come.
They need to get Whataburger and they're going to talk about it for years.
It's not Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems, dude. And yes, there are items on the menu, like the honey butter chicken biscuit, that will make you orgasm. But that is not a realistic food item, dude. Come on, that's like a 700-calorie biscuit, then fucking chicken covered in every delicious sauce you can imagine mixed together. I think mostly honey.
And butter.
And butter. And then biscuit. And I mean, it's something.
So
but
good.
When okay, so I usually ate it late night, and then the just toilet disaster that creates the next morning is it's that alone is not worth the trip.
Yeah.
And it filled me with regret.
Didn't you say you used to hide your...
Dude, okay, that is one of the funniest things that's ever happened in my whole life, so we'll just go there. Okay, so at one point when I was married, bro, and I was getting fat, right? I knew, man, it's not like I didn't know, all right? I would look in the mirror and go, fuck, but I didn't care. I was miserable. And frankly, if you were going to go that route, I'd been a skinny fuck my whole life. It was like, I'm married now. It's not like I'll give it to, fuck it. So I went for it. Probably didn't help. But at one point, when I was getting late night fast food and because we would go out with our friends or whatever, we were still young, and I would get back drunk and I would want to grub and so when I would get late night fast food, it got to a point where I was getting fatter. I started to get kind of ashamed of it, or she'd come down the next day and she'd see the Whataburger at the top of the trash can, and she'd be like, "Oh, you got Whataburger again, huh?" And it'd be like day number 12 in a row, you know? And she'd just be like, what the fuck? This guy, what is he doing? And so what I did, was, this is fucking amazing. All right, so what I did was one night when I was blackout drunk, I went and got Whataburger. And when I was done with the meal, I hid it. I didn't put it in the trash because I didn't want anyone to see it, right? So I hid it, and who knows how much time passes. I pull into my driveway. I get home from work. I'm going to put something in the trunk out of the garage. I can't remember what was going on, but I was popping my trunk, and there's just a giant bag of Whataburger. All right, and that's where I had hid it. So I had eaten the meal inside, gone back outside, put it in the trunk of my car, and forgot. And the fucked up part is, like, I ordered so much food, and this is called, like, my girlfriend calls this pulling a Ross, is when you order too much food. I ordered way too much because I get excited. It's like when you go shopping hungry, you know?
Russ,
Grocery store.
I do this more than anybody you've ever met.
It's so bad, Jared. It's so bad. So I hadn't even finished it because I had ordered too much food. So there was like like 1.5 chicken fingers left. It was disgusting. So there was like bugs and shit. I mean, this was a very old car too. Everything about it was sad. So I took a picture because to me it was fucking hilarious. I was like, I didn't know what else to do except to acknowledge it and like throw myself under the bus because now it was awkward because she was in. There was no way I was gonna get rid of this bag without she was gonna know. So I took a picture of it and I made it into a social media thing. And I said, like, I hid my Whataburger from my wife out of shame and put the picture and didn't tag anybody, I don't think. And Whataburger responded. And they were like, because they crushed social media, and they were like, you don't have to hide it from her anymore. Like, you don't have to be ashamed. Like, or something like that. It was so fucking hilarious. Then I screenshotted that and like put it up on Instagram, and it became this whole thing. But like, yeah, bro, Whataburger and me got unhealthy, and that's why I can't go back. It's not because it's not good. It's triggering for me.
Yeah, but the sweet and spicy bacon burger and the mushroom and Swiss burger are top tier fast food burgers.
I think the mushroom and Swiss is there's a little bit too many mushrooms on there. That's just my opinion. I love mushrooms.
Not enough mushrooms on there.
Okay. The other thing you said, I haven't gotten to try that yet, which is problematic for me because now I'm having thoughts about wanting to go to Whataburger, and we were supposed to be talking about pizza.
And before we talk about pizza again, I just have to say now that we're talking about fast food burgers, Wendy's just came out with the bourbon bacon burger. Just had it the other day. Phenomenal. I did overorder, as I always do. A normal person would go to Wendy's and say, hey, I'll get the bourbon bacon burger meal, right?
Yeah.
Number one.
It comes with fries and a drink, and that's a lot. That's a full burger, a side, and a beverage.
So here's what I did.
Uh-huh.
I got a large meal, first thing, right? Get bigger drink, bigger fries.
Yeah, which is like already, we all know as you're ordering it, you know as you say, I want a large, that you fucked up. You know, but you do it anyway, and I do it all the time.
Okay, and then they said, how many patties? And I knew, because I'd done this before, I knew that the standard was 1. And so I got a double.
They asked you how many patties, bro. See, that's another thing, is it's like, you can't put that on me, because a double is coming.
Yep, always.
The first time I had a good double was at P. Terry's. I got the double cheeseburger meal like I do every time I go there. It's delicious, speaking of fast food joints. And in Austin. And I'm a crackhead for him now. I'm addicted. Why have 1 patty when you can have 2? And that feeling of when you're biting through the patty, it's double that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So then I'm already sitting there like, okay, I just got a large meal and I got 2 patties. And these are big patties. These are like the quarter-pound ones, you know? Like they're big. So then I go, but what if that's not enough? So I got a small...
What if that's not enough? What's the thing you asked yourself?
Well, I got a small spicy nug on top of it.
See,
and I ate it all.
You want to know what's truly sad?
Goddamn.
When was this?
Like 3 days ago.
Okay. You want to know what's truly sad? Last night I'm laying in bed. I'm like, man, I'm not going to be asleep for at least 45 minutes. Pretty hungry, too. I mean, I could watch this movie. I could order food. It'll be here before I'm asleep. And I ordered McDonald's. And I'm a psycho, like you. So what a normal person would do is they would order one of the menu items, one of the meals off the menu, maybe throw in a treat. Fucking, let's say a McFlurry, because they're a dumbass, right? That's a normal dumbass move. Well, that's not for you and I, Jared. Not us, buddy.
Nope.
Not us. So I ordered the 10-piece chicken nugget meal because it's delicious. And it comes with the fries, and man, I really like the fries. And look, it's just a nugget meal. The nuggets don't get any bigger. I'll make it a large. I want more fries. That also, they give you like a 40-ounce beverage when you get it a large. It's enough for like 3 days. And that would have been the end for the normie or whatever. Oh, the McFlurry. So I get the McFlurry, and I throw it in there. I get the Oreo one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm really fucked up in the head, like a really disturbed person. So I buy, there was a 3-pack of cookies on the menu, which I didn't even know McDonald's sold, frankly. And when the other funny part is that it makes you individually pick each type of cookie that you want out of your 3, and the only option is chocolate chip for each. So I got 3 chocolate chip cookies because...
And a McFlurry.
And a McFlurry.
And a 10-piece nugget.
And a 10-piece
fry,
nugget. And a fry.
Drink.
And a drink.
Does it stop there?
It does not, because the spicy, the hot and spicy McChicken is my shit. And that's my real meal is the 10-piece, the hot and spicy, and the fries. I'm counting that as the meal. Everything else was the dessert. So this is me, this is how I frame it up in my head.
Yeah.
And that, I ordered all that, and I ate all of that. And it did get to the point, like, where I had about half of the hot and spicy left, because I saved it. Because I eat things in order, too. I'm one of those weirdos.
My brother does that.
I don't like mixing, all right? I don't eat the nuggets and the fries at the same time, and I know a lot of you listening are like, this dude is literally a serial killer, and I'm not. That's the crazy part. Like, I'm not. I know. I should be, but I'm not. And I don't like eating my nuggets and my fries, or I don't mix that shit, so I save the McChicken for last because I like that as my last thing out of those 3. I've done this many times. You can tell. I've got this whole routine. And... it's a miracle I've kept Bill Chungus at bay, honestly. And and I got to the last half of that spicy McChicken, and it was definitely a challenge. I didn't feel good about it. Like, I was like, I could stop right now, and I know everything would be better. I mean, everything. Going to sleep would be easier. I'd feel better the next day when I woke up, but I couldn't do it, dude. I couldn't do it. We exited Mental Health Awareness Month, and immediately I lost all respect for my own mental health and had to eat that for the rest. So I ate the rest of it, and I slept well, frankly. This morning, I woke up about an hour earlier than usual, and I had to take a dump.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's and here's the thing that really I don't like is the idea of thinking about my poor body, just my poor silly ass body laying there trying to sleep, trying to get some rest, man. And I have packed it full to the brim with McDonald's, just to an extent that nobody should ever do. Like I was trying to do the documentary that dude did, where he gave himself like heart disease by eating McDonald's for 1,000 days or whatever. That's not any of what happened.
Supersize me.
Supersize me.
Ross, this was last night.
Uh-huh.
I'm about to bring this around like nothing has ever been brought around before besides this ass.
Bring it.
Last night, it was, would have been about, let's say about 2 a.m. Let's say 2 a.m. When most people would be like, you know, I'm a little bit hungry, so I'm either going to have a small snack and go to bed, or I'm just going to go to bed and know that I don't actually need it, right?
Let me correct you. When most people would be like...
Okay, I was still up. I was playing Rocket League late.
Yeah, no, I get you, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. So I had ordered pizza yesterday for dinner, and I had some left over. I was like, I was saving this for dinner, but you know, I could probably have one slice now and have enough for dinner the next day, right? So I go and I decide there's a lot of ways you can reheat pizza, okay? A lot of ways. If you do it in the microwave, you're an idiot and a sociopath, and I don't want to talk to you because the microwave is far and away the worst way to reheat pizza. The crust gets completely sogged out by the cheese and the sauce.
And let me, before you get too many of the people listening in a place where they feel defensive, the first time you use the oven, you will feel silly as hell. that you ever use the microwave to reheat pizza. It is simply a far superior experience.
People always go, "Oh, but it's so much faster," and it's like, yeah, but the 6 minutes it
not worth
takes.
It's not worth the speed. It's not worth the speed. I'm telling you, I used to be microwave guy. I was one of you. Just like I was a fucking BlackBerry user for too long. And the day I used the iPhone and the day I used the oven were the same. Changed my whole shit, dude. It is so much better. It's like getting a fresh new pizza.
Yes.
If you get good enough pizza, which I tend to do, and it keeps well, it is like getting it again for the first time, and sometimes even better. Sometimes even better.
It is sometimes better. So you have two options when you're going to reheat pizza in the oven. You can either go, if you're trying to really go fast, like you want to eat fast, but you do not want to microwave it.
I want to go fast.
You put it under the broiler, right?
Sure.
Broiler gets hot way faster than the oven does. Stick it on the top rack, stick it right under it.
Let me make a Kanye reference. Damn, baby, I can't go that fast, but I know someone who can. And then Twista comes on and he does his verse, but I can't do that, so I won't.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I was, it's late at night. I'm like, I don't want to spend the extra like 5 minutes having the oven heat up a little bit, even though it would be better that way. I always say, I'll go for the broiler route. Broiler route's just a little bit worse because the crust on the bottom doesn't get as much heat,
The broiler route. So you're talking turn on the Bunsen burner thing. That's what I call it.
I don't have a gas. I have electric.
Whatever.
So the broiler is,
What do I have?
You have gas. So the top, it gets really hot on the top, and you stick it on you stick the top rack. You stick the shelf all the way at the top, put the pizza on that, and then all the heat goes right on top. Gets the cheese a little bit melty. Now it's a little worse because you don't get the crust as a nice like texture on that. You can't get the crust a little crispier because all the heat's on the top and the cheese is like a little barrier there. However, it's late at night. Whatever. I decided to go the broiler route. Little did I know, Ross, when my girlfriend got home from her night shift at like 3 or 4 a.m.
Working on the night shift.
And wakes me up. She goes, she's being sarcastic, of course. She says, "Hey, did you mean to leave the broiler on?" The broiler gets really hot, Ross. Really, really, really hot. I left my broiler on high for like 3 hours while I slept with midnight snack pizza in my stomach like a total idiot. Which I'm very happy that I did not leave anything in the oven because that's how you start a fire.
You stupid asshole.
I know.
I do have gas. You were right. And not making a joke, I do have gas. I looked it up to see what I pay for. Also, you said last night you were considering the pizza, right? And what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad because I immediately had a red flag go up for me. And what I do is if I had pizza in the fridge last night, for example, I didn't because when I got a home slice this weekend, I ate the whole fucking thing. Again, food is my G. But what I would have done is thought about the pizza in the fridge. Oh yeah, I saved some of that pizza. I could have some of that, and then I would have gone. Or I could save the pizza for tomorrow and order McDonald's and get a 10-piece with these 2 desserts and a fucking burger too. And I would have still done it. Like that's the thing is once I'm on that mindset, it's over. Like it's over. There's nothing you can do to derail me. It's sick.
It was, I would do that sometimes. However, it was so late that like I should have already been sleeping.
Yeah.
Like there's no way I could have waited for the delivery of
I feel you. That was real late for sure.
However, the pizza, back to the pizza, almost burned down my apartment.
Yeah, so. Don't, Jared.
Don't leave your oven on after you eat really late pizza like an idiot.
You ever started a fire before, Jared?
I don't think I have.
Not a pyro guy?
No.
When I was a kid...
Wait, what are you going to ask me next? Have I ever murdered animals?
No, nobody taught me how to cook. So one time I tried to do the only version of cooking that my feeble mind could understand, and it was macaroni and cheese. And I almost burned the whole goddamn house down. It was crazy as hell. Fucking shit was up in flames. My mom's freaking out.
Wait, really?
Yeah, for real.
How are you making it?
On the Bunsen burner.
Don't call it a Bunsen burner.
That's what it is.
It's a burner. A Bunsen burner is in a laboratory.
In Dexter's laboratory.
Like,
get out of my laboratory.
Didi.
What a great show.
I named my...
Kids, you don't know what we're talking about.
I had a box turtle as a kid, and I named it Dexter after Dexter's laboratory.
You had a turtle, no cap?
No cap.
Wow. Look at us.
On God.
Unaging ourselves. We are so cool.
We're viral on TikTok. Viral TikTok hot boys. On God.
What was I saying? Pizza.
Oh, yeah. So now we're going to talk about pizza.
Pizza.
More.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, Via 313 was my first introduction into Detroit-style pizza. I went to Chicago with my family to celebrate me graduating from college. It's funny because the pictures from that, I had shaved my head because I had had really long, stupid hair my whole life, and I thought I was going to have to go into the professional world and look like an adult. I had no idea I would be recording in my home wearing a tank top and Birddogs.
With about
Yeezys on.
And about $100 of street meat in the fridge.
So I shaved my head because I thought I was going to have to work. Anyway, we went to Chicago. By the way, I've been a couple times now, and Chicago is far and away my favorite United States city that I have visited that is not in Texas. Far and away.
I love Chicago. My brother, noted friend of the show, he was on a Patreon episode, patreon.com.
What's good?
/ Bolen podcast. Check it out. Very fun.
Sir. One of the funniest episodes we've ever done.
He lived in Chicago for like 5 years. Loves it. Loves it.
It's a great place. I could never live there because of the winter. I'm not a cold weather guy. That shit would it would be bad. So I love Chicago though.
Are you a deep dish guy? Deep dish
So
pizza?
I tried the Chicago deep dish. Whoo! I mean, that is something else.
It's more like a lasagna than a pizza.
No, it would depend. Yeah, I mean, sort of. I don't know. It depends where you go. Some of them have a little more structure to them. Because I'll try to cut slim slices out of them. Okay, because if you get a fat slice, it does kind of turn into a lasagna-esque situation. So I try to get a little slimmer of a slice so it maintains more form, and you do have to go like fork and knife with that bitch and get yourself like, I try to keep as much pizza form to it as possible is what I'm saying, even as I'm forking and knifing it.
So I would always typically try to get a Chicago deep dish style pizza when I'd visit my brother. And there are two places that actually had what I found, and I think Chicago people hopefully can back me up here. If you're going to get a deep dish Chicago style pizza, do not get a freshly made one. Do not go to like Lou Malnati's and wait an hour for them to bring it out, because the best Chicago deep dish pizzas are by the slice, because when they reheat them, it like the bottom gets crispy again and not all soggy with like eating it with a fork and knife. Like when they're fresh, it's so soggy.
Well, we talked about the oven reheating experience, and anybody who's kept leftover deep dish will tell you, bro, that's holy God.
And when you get it by the slice, they put it back in the pizza oven, heat it up for you in the store.
So it's that kind of
There was one, I can't remember the name. It was called like DeSauner's or something.
Me and my dumbass
Madison
family,
Street.
we got the whole big ass pizza, but it was still like, I'm fucking shit. Dude. And I'll never forget it. I can still put myself in that chair. There's like moments like that where I it's usually with food, where I eat something and I'm like, I'm gonna never forget this shit. It's like 9/11 and then the time I had deep dish for the first time.
Yeah.
Those are the two memories that are really etched into my mind deeply enough for me to be able to put myself in that chair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
what other types of pizza are there?
Well, a Neapolitan is a very common type these days. A lot of artisan places. What that is like, when they cook it on like the wood and there's like the little black bubbles that come up, like
Hey, this shit's weak. I don't like these places.
You don't like it? Oh, wood-fired pizza?
I don't like the overcomplicatedness of it. Like, even to say that,
What if it's just
I know that the
cheese?
deep dish is complicated as shit because it takes forever, but it's like, there's some art to that or something.
So you're saying you like the big Baker's Pride steel pizza ovens and not a nice, beautiful wood-fired pizza oven?
I'm not saying I don't love the beautiful wood-fired pizza oven. I'm not trying to make this about the oven. That's tight. It's about the pizza product that comes out of that oven. I'm not a huge fan of.
But what if
What does artesian even mean?
Okay.
It just makes me uncomfortable.
Read to me your thoughts in your head. What are you picturing when I say this? Are you picturing a bunch of weird toppings on it? Because usually it's like a margarita or just a cheese.
No, I'm picturing like some fucking garnish because they, and like slightly burnt crust, but it's a little thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I see. That's not my.
Dude, you got
I'm
the
not
char
saying,
on there, the little wood-fired char.
Hey, different strokes for different folks. It is what it is. When I looked up artesian, it just pulled up this artesian aquifer, and now I'm confused and I'm gonna go away from it.
Okay, so you have that. New York style is the most kind of like common baseline when you think of pizza. New York style. I love a good New York style. I love the chewy dough.
See, New York's what makes me think of like getting a slice.
A
That's
big
like-
slice, yeah.
Yeah, like a northeastern thing.
It's like I think New York style is the basic pizza, right? If you were to look at a stock image of a pizza, it would be a New York style.
Slicing a Coke on The Sopranos is the thing.
Exactly. What would you call like Pizza Hut and Domino's style?
It's just like the fast food version of pizza. I mean,
Yeah.
but where do they fall in terms of like classification?
Just
Like,
American style?
I mean, they're bootleg ass New York, like, but they'll do random stuff too. They'll throw in like a pan pizza or like the New York style or like here's the new thin crust. Like they,
Yes.
but in general, when I think of Domino's, when I think of the Pizza Huts, I think they rip New York more than anybody when it came down to the fast foodish version of it.
Let me tell
It's
you.
good as shit though. I don't want to
yeah.
knock. Like
Yeah.
by the way, Domino's like in terms of fast fooding a category. Hey man, it's it's pizza. It can't be that fucking complicated. Domino's does a hell of a job.
I'm going to change some lives here. If you ever decide that you have expendable income, right?
Okay.
Like, and you want to ball out at Domino's, which is a decision, right?
It's definite. I've made it before. It's a tight decision to make like once every couple years.
There is a pizza you can get at Domino's. It is incredibly expensive for what you get, okay? But it's unbelievable. They don't tell you about it. It's not even a menu item. It's a combination of two menu items that you can make when you order online. So you get the pan pizza at Domino's. That's the thicker crust, little bit of it's chewier because the crust is thicker. It's got a little bit of
different shape to the crust.
slightly different shape.
It's like a fucking dip.
Yeah,
I don't know,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It's got a little bit of the burnt, little burnt cheese on it, like kind of like a Detroit style a little bit because it's made in a pan. So there's, it can cook kind of around the edges.
Yes.
Ross, you can get from Domino's a buffalo chicken pan pizza. It's got American cheese melted onto it, which is one of the best melting cheeses. I would never eat American cheese raw, but when you're melting cheeses, American cheese is one of the best melty cheeses. It gets creamy as shit. It gets creamy as baby shit. And then it's got onions, it's got chicken on it, and it's got buffalo sauce, and it's got the burnt cheese on it. It is unbelievable. Only issue, it costs $16 for a 12-inch pizza.
Holy hell.
Yes.
Dude, buffalo sauce buffalo chicken inherently makes me feel like it's the most busted ass version possible of that meal. I don't know why. It's something that like it has never felt completely natural for me on pizza, chicken on pizza. So when I've gotten a buffalo chicken pizza, it's like it messed me up at some point.
No, now here's the real question, and maybe this will have to be a TikTok. Ross, The Watchmen. I love that show. Is that coming back for season 2?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I can't remember.
Ross, how do you feel about pineapples on pizza?
I have no real issue with it. Like it's actually kind of good. I don't know what it is about. I don't order it, but like you know how people will have a party and they'll get like 8 different kinds of pizza, and then the pineapple one has a bunch of slices because nobody's touching it because it's got pineapples on it and what the fuck. I kind of don't mind. It depends what else is mixed in there and where it's from and if they do it right.
If you like pineapples on your pizza, there's no better place for you than a communal pizza party because you're going to get a whole pizza to yourself. Nobody's going to want to eat that besides you.
Nobody touches it. Nobody. That box is the one that everyone walks by, takes a peek in, goes, "Oh, fucking pineapple," and shuts it and walks off. Because what the hell? Who chopped up a pineapple and put it on this fucking pizza? Makes no sense. Pizza is not just because it's flat doesn't mean you can just add whatever you want all willy-nilly. I'm not going to throw a goddamn orange on my pizza. What are you doing? Stop it. We've got all of the different things we need here. Some assorted meats, some veggies. For Christ's sake, keep the pineapple out of it.
The worst thing that can happen with a pizza, though, is when you get way too liberal with your toppings. You're like, oh, you know what sounds good? Pepperoni and sausage and red peppers and onions and jalapenos.
And then you shit your pants.
And not only do you shit your pants, when you pick the slice up, everything just falls off. And then you're just left there with like pan con tomate, just crust and tomato sauce.
It's one of the things about, you know how Portnoy does the pizza reviews, and for the life of me, like it still melts my brain how many people watch those. It's millions and millions of people, and the man rates a pizza on a scale of 1 to 10, pretty much usually between the 5 and 8 range.
Mm-hmm.
And again, pizza's not all that complicated, so it's just not like, how many goddamn pizza places can you go? Jesus.
But he makes me want to eat pizza. Every time I watch one of those, I need pizza.
No one is a bit like, if there's a big pizza, the way there is Big Milk, Portnoy needs to be the number one paid guy on their payroll because he is crushing it for Big Pizza.
I got pizza last night because I was like, man, I've been watching pizza reviews lately. I got to have a pizza.
Yeah. Wait, what the fuck was I talking about? Where was I going with that? Who knows?
I know where you were going with that. We talked about all the stuff falling off the pizza. And
yeah. It's the one thing about his reviews that I always do appreciate is like when he recognizes the flop. What does he call it? Like the New York
Jersey
flop?
flop,
Jersey flop. I can't remember what it is. The New York flop, I think. I don't remember. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I do know. But that matters a lot, dude. I'm not trying to, like, I do want a little bit of that. I don't want it to be a fucking stiff board, but a little, like, just on the front end, just at the end, just the very end, just a little bit of flop to it, and then crunch after that. Like, because the crunchiness is important. Too soft of a pizza is no fun. That's no fun, and that's where the people, you know, who really can't jive with deep dish, that's why. Not enough structure. It's like more like a lasagna, like you said. They want the crunch, which is what you get when you buy it by the slice.
Yep. The Art of Pizza in Chicago, and then this other place on Addison, north of Roscoe Village. I don't remember what it's called. 2 phenomenal by the slice deep dish pizzas.
Fuck, now I miss Chicago.
We should go.
We should go at some point.
It'd be tight.
See the bean. Do a selfie in front of it.
Yeah. I have a really good bean selfie on my Instagram. Hey, if you're listening right now, go to my Instagram, go all the way back to this bean selfie I took in like 2013 and like
Just
it.
comment the bone on there.
And comment the bone on there.
Comment the bone
Let's
on
see
there.
let's see how many comments we can get.
When we went to Chicago, my family, to celebrate my graduation, my dad he watched the vacation movies a lot when I was growing up. He was a huge fan of Clark Griswold, as am I now and then. But you know, Clark's son's name is Rusty. My name's Ross. It's just spelled R-O-S-S. It's in the podcast title. He would always call me Rusty. It was like one of my nicknames. Didn't really fit. Just both start with R. Nobody seemed to give a fuck. He just applied it, went with it. But he's kind of a Clark Griswold type of dude. And when we went, fancied himself that way, I think. And when we went, perhaps still does. Dad, you'll have to tell me. When we went to Chicago, this fool made us walk everywhere. Like, he wouldn't let us take a fucking cab. It was summer. It was hot as shit. And everything is far as hell. We walked from, like, the Airbnb condo we stayed in, which was dope as shit, by the way. You're just so high up there, man. That's a totally different life. I'm on the ground down here most of the time. These motherfuckers walking around living 80% of their life, 500 floors up and shit. It's crazy. Skyscrapers are wild. And I just remember we were going to a museum, and my mom was like, we should just get a cab.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, we're in Chicago. We'll enjoy it. And like 2.5 hours later, when we were 1/5 of the way there, all of us were like, you son of a bitch, you stupid bat, you betray it. And he was like, he's like, he could tell it. He knew he had fucked up at that point, but it was too late. It was just too late. And that's why you always take a ride share.
Yeah, Chicago's kind of a long city because, you know, it's all along the lake there, so they kind of put a lot of stuff along the lake. So all the good stuff is at different...
This museum was legitimately on the lake. It took us fucking forever.
Was it the Navy Pier?
To get to. Yeah, I believe so.
It's kind of near the bean-ish.
I saw the bean, like I said. No, I don't think I took a picture.
Did you flick it? Everybody takes a picture of them flicking the bean.
Do they?
Mm-hmm.
Real mature America. Real
That's
mature. Anyway,
that's
shouts
not
to
what my
Chicago.
selfie is of it. It's
Spent a lot of time talking about Chicago today. We've never done that before. We talked about pizza. We haven't really done it that much before. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Ew.
Yeah, thoroughly. By the way, thank you so much to everybody who has joined on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast in support of the show. We got over 1,000 people, finally. We broke the 1,000 person mark at the end of May, and it was huge, honestly. That was a very big moment to finally get back across that, because like I said, we were over 1,500 people at one point, and we need to get to 2,000, closer to 3, really, as soon as possible, so that we can operate comfortably and grow this company and podcast the way that Jared and I want to. So thank you so much to everybody who joined and got us over the 1,000 mark. Now we need more of you to get in there so that we can double or triple the size of our Patreon. And
it's so worth it. It's the amount of stuff we put on there, columns, new podcasts every single week,
Yeah, so
additional bonus content.
If you maybe used to be on there back in the day or something and like didn't see that much to make it worth your while or whatever, like I assure you now we have a whole bunch of stuff coming out. Like we had 6 columns last month, 2 mental health minisodes, one of which was over an hour long and not a minisode at all. That was literally just me talking about mental health awareness and my own mental health journey. And then what else? The Hotline Call Extravaganza, an ad-free episode each
weekly
Friday
update
of the month.
If you're interested in the company at all, every month we do a weekly update column where Ross just
Every
talks
month
about the
we
state
do a
of the
weekly update column.
Wait.
Every month we do a Bolen Media update column where I update everybody on the state of the company and where we're at, which I put out at the end of May as well. And you can go read it if you join right now on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. And in that column, I kind of go into depth, actually, about why it's so important that we get as many of you as we can onto Patreon and explain sort of the nature of Bolen Media as a whole and how we were affected by 2020 and how we plan on pulling out of that.
If you're interested in Bolen Media at all, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, maybe you haven't just made the jump to Patreon yet, Ross wrote like 1,300 words talking about the company. And if you have any interest in the podcast and the company, I mean, it'll be well worth the money for the month, even just to read that column. And then you get everything else, too.
So you get all this additional stuff, additional episodes. You go on there, you check out a tier. Just a minimum of $5 in a pledge will get you the ad-free Friday episodes. But we have a $10 tier. We've got a $100 tier. You can fucking pledge anywhere in between per month, and you're going to get access to all that different content that tier provides and support the podcast, keep us in business, and help us grow the show and the company at the same time. So thank you very, very much to everybody who is there already. Thank you to the people who have been there this whole time. And thank you to those of you who join after listening to today's episode. The ad-free Friday episodes are super, super fun. Jared and I make them just as good, if not better, than these Monday and Wednesday episodes here that are public. And we really have a blast with them. They're a little more unhinged, I would say, in terms of polish.
If you like when Ross and I go on tangents, like when we spoke for about 20 minutes about fast food during a pizza segment, that's kind of what...
The whole thing, though. But, like the outline is, I usually, like, set it on fire 5 minutes into the episode. And just, we don't even know what's going to happen. And then the Hotline Call Extravaganza, for example, is completely driven by our patrons, the people who are there in the RBP gang supporting the show on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. So let's keep it above 1,000. Not only that, let's double it, let's triple it, let's quadruple it. Let's grow the show. Thank you to everybody who's here. Thank you to everybody listening. If you would, tell a friend, a family member, a coworker about RBP. Share the show with somebody this week. And if you would also support our sponsors. Anytime that you hear us do a read for a sponsor like Felix Gray or Birddogs that you enjoy, and I promise you, we only pick sponsors that make really, really good products that we personally use. I really do wear Birddogs all the time. They're super comfortable shorts. I run in them, do house chores in them, whatever the fuck. You really can't swim in them. They're a damn bathing suit.
If you buy Birddogs and you're not happy with your purchase, obviously you can do a return, but also you can come and spank my tight little ass.
Yeah, come spank Jared's tight little ass. You get a fucking foot. Even if you were like, the shorts are okay, which they're not. They're phenomenal. You're getting a free whistling football. And Felix Gray's I wear every day, and they really are the best looking, most high quality glasses I've ever worn. I've been wearing glasses since I was like 12 years old or 14 years old or something like that. So FelixGrayGlasses.com/RBP. Support the show. Grab some Felix Grays. Birddogs.com, code RBP. Support the show. Grab some Bird Dogs. Get yourself a free whistling fucking football. And those are all the things you can do to support RBP and make sure that we're not only that we stay here, but we get to remain here in the future and grow the show some mo. Jared, J-Bone, Bone Man, J-Bone. And that's kind of all I have to say today. I hope y'all had a phenomenal Memorial Day weekend. It's June, baby. It's fucking summer. It's about to heat up here. We already heating. We have, by definition, been heating up NBA Jam style on this show for many, many, many weeks. Now, people on the internet and worldwide are speculating, when will we catch fire? When? I'm going to guess June.
It's June now.
I know.
Oh, my God.
I think it's going to happen. I was born this month. And this way.
Wait, when's your birthday?
June 7th.
Wait, that's really soon.
Yeah. I actually saw, Serena, I saw her tweet, like, did anybody accidentally tell everyone the wrong age all year because they forgot their birthday, pandemic birthday, their, birthday during 2020? That shit's still Remember the other day I was like, wait, am I 34? I'm still not sure. Like, as I sit here and talk to you right now, but I think 33. I'm like 87% sure that I'm 33 years old.
Yeah. I don't know. Wait.
You a big birthday guy?
No.
Okay, what do you mean when you say that, though?
Here's what I want to do. When it's my birthday, I want to get a nice dinner. If you got me a present, that's awesome. But I'm not going to
I got you a present.
Not you.
Am I even at the dinner?
Not you. I'm saying people, my parents, my girlfriend. Like, I'm not like, I need a present. Here's what I want. Sending out a list.
Are you having like a big group dinner with all your people, inviting a bunch of friends and shit, and doing a full J-Bone like birthday dinner?
I've done both. I've done the just me and my girlfriend. I've done the whole big group
now
one.
Why? Was it like you turned 25 and that's when you did a big one? Because that's totally fine. Because that's like a fucking, milestone birthday. But if you're turning 27 or like 34 and you're going all out on your birthday, that's when I'm like,
yeah,
what's up, bro?
I'm in a friend group that has it planned out to where everybody's birthday everybody gets together for, at least before the pandemic, and so that's why it would be like group dinner like a week before my birthday and my actual birthday.
You're still young enough to where you haven't had the crushing reproductive process destroy stuff like that.
No.
Yeah, because like one friend pops a kid out and then they're like, oh, well, we can't make it because it's Tuesday.
And really what they're saying is, we can't make it because you don't want my stupid crying baby there.
Well, or also, like, my baby goes to bed at 6 p.m. and, like, I pass out by 7:30 because I'm fucking exhausted or whatever. Parents have to deal with shit. So I get it. But, like, then you're one short and then it's like, next thing you know, somebody's got panic disorder and is going through a divorce and they're not showing up. And then slowly but surely, you're just blowing out the candles yourself, Jared.
Make the waiter blow them out. So at least I feel like there's somebody there.
Excuse me, sir. Yeah, could you come over here? Would you mind singing the birthday song to me? He's like, I'm sorry. Sorry, what's that? Would you sing Happy Birthday to me? I'm here for my birthday celebration. Just
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Happy birthday to all the June babies, including Kanye and Emily Ratajkowski. And we'll see you next week. But first, Friday on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, ad-free, where you can come support the show for more of the Billy and the Bone show. Billy and the Bone Man. Billy and the Bone Man. It's Billy and the Bone Man. And we'll be back next week on. But seriously, Friday, patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast. Thank you for supporting the show. And we will be back on Monday with another episode of RBP. Stay safe and stay free.
And most importantly, Ross,
Stay off the weed.